Hello and welcome to today's reading. Yes, I know I'm early on the reading. That's because this is a 500 special. I might talk a little faster than I usually do because usually when I read stories, I usually don't read them before I read them to y'all. So it's a surprise for both of us on what happens. Except for unless there's smut, I need to make sure there's no smut. And oh yeah, speaking of NSFW things, speaking of NSFW things, in chapter 10 there will be smut. That is an NSFW chapter. Now I need to know, would y'all like me to read it? I'll probably take it down later, but I don't know. All I know for now is I will not be reading chapter 10 of this until somebody asks me to. Because in all honesty, I don't want to get demonetized, and I don't know if that's going to demonetize me. Or if it's going to get taken down. It probably won't. But, like I said, please, just let me know. Oh my god. Anyways, let's just get to chapter 1. This is a iidadeku story, Secret Love. And you can clearly see the author. So, we'll just get started. Iju's Pove. It was the end of the school day, and I was packing up my things. Uraka already left since she found a part-time job just to help her parents. Ida, on the other hand, last I saw he was also packing up his things. It feels weird that Uraka is distant at the moment between us three since after the internship we had to do after the sports festival. When I was done putting my things in my book bag, I heard Ida say something. Hey, Midoriya, ready to go now? Yes, I just wish Uraraka was here so we can talk to her. When I was saying that we were both heading out of the school, I agree, especially since she hasn't been talking to us much. I giggled a little. I thought I was the only one who noticed that she has been distant lately. Soon enough, we fell in a bit of a silence, but soon I felt Ida's hand bump mine, and at that, I blushed a little, yet I had a little bit of courage to put at least a finger on his hand. That kind of also reminded me we are going to his place to study later. Anyway, sometime after 2 seconds later, since I touched his hand with a finger, he slowly started to hold onto my hand. I saw him relax a little and blush, and I did the same. Yes, we are not dating yet, but we act the same as a couple when we are alone. That us without the kisses and actually going on dates. I looked up at Ida and noticed he was looking at me before we both looked ahead so we don't run into anything. Midoriya, can I tell you something? Yeah, sure. Sure you can. I saw him tense up a little before he started to talk. I have feelings for you, and I have for a while, but if you feel the same way, can we hopefully be boyfriends? I started to tear up with happy tears. That is, of course, I feel the same way, and I will love to be your boyfriend. I saw him not tense after that, and we stopped for a second before he kissed me, and I returned it, of course. When we separated from the kiss, we were both blushing before we start to walk again. Can we just keep it a secret from the others? Just tell our parents. I think that is the best idea, so we won't have people bugging us about it. I smiled at his answer and squeezed his hand a little, and he did the same. I have a question, which is, do we say each other's first name when we are alone? Oh, also, didn't you notice we kinda acted close to a couple before when we were alone? Yes, we can call one another by our first name, and now you say that, I didn't notice until you pointed it out. We fell in a nice silence, and soon we found ourselves at his house, and we went to his room to start homework. Before we started to study, also at the time no one else was here when the homework was done. Tanya sat closer to me and wrapped an arm around me. Before we started to study, I didn't blush that much by him wrapping his arm around me since I was used to it. While studying, he kissed me a few times, and of course I returned them. That was until we decided to take a break. When we did, I had the courage to start kissing him again, and soon it turned into a makeout session. At the time, I am now on his lap, my arms wrapped around his neck and his around my waist. Both of us knew not to take it anywhere else since we both were not ready yet. Either way, the kiss felt magical and it was full of love. When we broke the kiss, though, we were both panting and there was a trail of saliva connecting us. I blushed while I was looking in Tanya's eyes. We both smiled at one another before we put our foreheads to touch one another's. Izuku, I love you so much. I love you so much too. With that said, we gave each other a short but sweet, loving, passionate kiss. I then sat in his lap, melting in his heat. Before we continued to study again, at times I was the one giving small kisses, but stopped after the 5th time because his embrace was too warm that I barely wanted to move. That was interrupted by Tanya's brother, by him knocking on the door. That made me and Tanya sat the actual way we usually do when someone does. Good thing also, since he just opened the door a bit afterwards. Hey Tanya, Midoriya just came to say that Midoriya, your mom is here and you both are staying for dinner. Thanks for telling me. He then left and Tanya closed the door. I looked at him before I spoke. Can we tell them since it will only be easier? I think that is a good idea. He then sat next to me, wrapping his arms around me, and I wrapped mine around him. We soon were in a mini makeout session, but was interrupted by his mom yelling from downstairs that dinner was done. We both groaned a little because of being interrupted, but quickly made sure we looked presentable. Before going down the steps and into the dining room, we all sat at the table, did a little prayer. Before we started eating, Tanya and my mom soon started to ask questions. So Tanya, how was your day at school? Went? It was good, but Uraraka was still being a bit distant. My mom asked me the same question, and I answered almost the same thing, and told her what Kachan did to me. Also. Chapter 2. Izu's Pove. We had to answer a few more questions before our parents looked at one another, even Sensei. It looked as if they were arguing on asking a question. So are you both dating yet? Since you both act kinda, I don't know, a couple already? I blinked a bit before I started to blush and think I almost fainted. Tanya was the one to answer. We just started to date one another today. And we were going to tell you all, but keep it a secret from others for now, that is. They were all happy and was understanding why we wanted to keep it a secret. Though I have a feeling we might have to talk again, even if we already had it once before, but I guess it is because we are at the age that we can get horny easier sense of teenage hormones. After dinner, we all went to the living room and had the talk again. Apparently there was a reason why though, but my mom didn't say until afterwards. What are you hiding from me, Mom? I heard a sigh come from her and I saw her bite her little lip a little. Izuku, you can get pregnant, and once you do, you won't be able to kill it or harm it. An example is when someone punches you hard in the stomach. The baby, or however many you may have at the time, will not die. Example, for not able to harm it or them is that your quirk won't affect them. Also, you will get a healing and protection for protecting someone as quirks. This made everyone quiet for a bit and let the information sink in. Well, that is nice to know. Also, was I ever able to get a girl pregnant if I had feelings for them? No, you weren't, and will never to be able to get any girl pregnant because of this. Does he keep his corks after giving birth? However, that will work. Yes, the doctor that told me this said he was able to do in naturally. I cringed at that a little since I have a feeling it will be a very painful. Soon we were talking about random things, and I then got a text from Udaraka to meet her at the park tomorrow at 1. I replied with an okay. I was at the park with Udaraka. I was at the park that Udaraka wanted me to meet her at. Ever since Mom and me left the Iidas, I started to miss Tenya, and my mom noticed. They know Udaraka texted me. They asked who did, and I told them. They asked if I had any idea why she wanted to meet me up at the park. I told them that I didn't know, and they looked suspicious because of what me and Tenya said earlier at dinner about her being distant. When 1 finally came around, I started walking to where I am at. Hey, Deku-kun. Hi, Uraraka-san. Why did you even want to talk? What did you even want to talk about? Anyway, she looked nervous before trying to kiss me. I backed up just in time since I noticed what she was trying to do. She just shakes her head, then looked at me. I have feelings for you, so why you even move away from the kiss I was able to give to you? I bit my lip a little. It is because I don't feel the same way towards you. I'm sorry. Not only that, but my mom told me I wasn't able to get a girl pregnant for reasons. I sighed before continuing. I never thought of girls as attractive anyway. Sorry, I have to go. I turned around before I started to run before Uraka said anything else. I got to a safe place before texting Tenya that I wanted to talk to him in person. He said he was at his house and no one was there. I replied that I'm on my way. When I did arrive, I knocked on the door and Tenya opened it. I got inside before hugging him. He closed the door and locked it afterwards. I took off my shoes. We went to his room and laid down, cuddling one another. He let me calm myself a little bit before I told him what happened. At first, she tried to kiss me, but I backed away enough so we wouldn't. Then she confessed her feelings towards me. I told her that I was not able to get girls pregnant for reasons, and told her I was never attracted to any girls anyway. Of course, I told her I had to go and turned around and started to run away without her saying anything else. I noticed that Tenya was trying to calm down so he wouldn't go hunting her down and who knows what. What helped him keep calm was I started a makeout session, which felt good since I missed kissing him already. When we were both separated from it, we were both panting a bit. Tanya, you know I love you, no matter what happens. Besides, I want to not think about what happened today. I love you too, Izuku, and I guess that would be the best option for the both of us. We then smiled at one another. He kissed my forehead before we started to cuddle even more. We were in a comfortable silence, which I personally was happy about. I am also happy that we decided it was the best decision to forget about what happened with Uraraka today, so no one gets hurt. Well, physical. That is, Uraraka is probably really hurt emotionally because of me rejecting her. I hope she doesn't lie about this interaction and say that I beat her up, when I didn't even touch her today. I just snuggled into Tanya's chest a bit more, and we both slowly fell asleep in one another's embrace. Chapter 3. Izu's Pove. It is now a month until final exams. At the moment, Tanya and me are studying. We both got bored soon and we got ready for a date since we were already planned to have one today. I am just surprised that we are so far still able to keep us a secret from our classmates. Uraka did lie about what I did to her after she confessed to me, but luckily no one believed her, and so did the teachers, which I was happy about, and so was Tenya. At times it is hard not to kiss him, not going to lie. First we want to go to a restaurant to eat, and then afterwards we paid and went to the park, went on a walk. He took me to a beautiful view. Wow, this is so beautiful, not as beautiful as you. I blushed a little bit before looking at Tanya to see him on a knee holding a box with a ring in it. Izuku Midoriya, will you make me the happiest man alive and marry me, even though we are still in high school? Yes, of course I'll marry you, Tanya. He put the ring on my left ring finger. When he was done with that, we gave one another a kiss, and that was filled with love and passion. When we did part, we just stared into each other's eyes. He pulled me closer to his body before we started to make out, which I could definitely tell there was more love in it than the little kiss we did have before. When he did ask for entrance, I allowed it with a small moan. Our tongues fought a bit before letting Tanya win, and feel him explore my mouth with his tongue. Of course. When he did start sucking on mine, I couldn't help but moan more since it felt good being this way with him. Soon enough, we parted and panted for air. A string of saliva was connecting us again, but we didn't care at the moment since we were looking at each other with love in our eyes, and our foreheads were on each other. I love you, Zuko, and I promise that it will never fade. I love you too, Tanya, and I know my love for you will never fade no matter what, even if our memories were erased or is hit by a cork. It is getting late. I think we should get going back to the house. There was a time where I couldn't bear even leaving Tanya, that my mom and his parents plus brother decided that it was a good idea for us to live with each other. So my mom and me moved in since they wanted us to. I share a room with Tanya since it was only natural because I will sleepwalk to his room or wherever he was at the time and lay on or by him. I don't know how my unconscious body knew where he was when he isn't in the house at the time. My body, when asleep, will just lay in his bed with somehow one of his shirts on. It confused everyone at first, but now we all are used to it. Me and Tanya got used to it first, and the others were wondering how we got used to it right away. My mom took me to a doctor because it wasn't normal or what she thought. All the doctor said is that it was a natural for people who have the ability that I have for getting pregnant. Natural as the male that can produce wants to feel safe in their sleep, so they will sleep or sleepwalk to their love, if they have one, that is. When we did get home, we celebrated the engagement. Afterwards, me and Tanya were cuddling in bed with our nightwear on. Well, 10 years nightwear, and me in short shorts, and one of his shirts, since I can and I will wear it. Before we fell asleep, we gave each other a kiss, then fell in a peaceful slumber. I was happy that I didn't have a nightmare, but I did dream about what we'll probably do for the wedding. Before we knew it, we have final exams and was already done with the writing portion. We had to get into our hero suits so we could take the physical part against the teachers. Unlucky for me, I got caution and we were up against All Might. I was to a amount of scared, but Tanya helped me to stay calm, which I was very thankful for. When it was time for me and Caution to fight All Might, I could say it went horribly, but not horrible enough for us to pass. That was barely in my option. That was Tanya was away from the others, and it took it a chance to kiss him, with him returning it and quickly separated. You did great out there. Thanks, Tanya. I quickly noticed my mistake, but thankfully no one heard since we were whispering. When the exams were over, we got to go home. On the way there, me and Tanya were flirting. We got interrupted by Uraraka calling our names. I just rolled my eyes. She hadn't talked to anyone since, well, the whole confession, rejection, and her lying. What do you want, Uraraka? I just wanted to tell Ida something. If it's a confession, then I will have to reject. that if it is a question, then I will have to reject you. Sorry if it sounds rude, but I also don't swing towards being attracted to girls. Oh, okay, sorry for even thinking I had a chance. Before she left, I said wait, and she looked at me. Uraraka, I know someone who wishes to be with you, and well, has had feelings for you since the sports festival. She looked at me and said, who would even you know? How would you even know? Well, it is Kachan, and before you say anything, his mom told mine that he wouldn't stop talking about you. Chapter 4. Training camp, that is what we got to do for what we get to do during supposed to be time away from school. Because of it is hard to even be with Tenya, which I hate. Uraka and Kachan are now dating, which brought most people to tell who they are dating. Shiro was with Mina, Kamnai was with Kirishima, Torio was with Ojiro, Soji was with Tokiyami, Jiro was with Momo, Shotaro was with Sue, and Sato with someone in Class 1C. The one that surprised me the most was Shoto with Sue. Tenya was surprised also, which he said when we were alone. At the moment, we were outside on the deck looking at the sky, and we were talking about random things. Kota was the one who found us, which we didn't know at first until we parted from our kiss. He came over at us and asked questions. We answered him as best as we could before he started to take him to his room. When we got there, though, he made us sit on his bed, so me and Tenya did. I read it and was shocked. Tenya read it and was also shocked. It said that Midoriya and Ida from the family marries each other. He is supposed to be our child once he does. What should I call you both once you are married? How about for me, Mom, and Tenya, Dad? Thankfully, Tenya was okay about the name Dad for him. It also looks to me that we will have an adoptive child when we do get married, which is possibly fun. Kota, can you keep that me and Tenya are in a relationship from others for since we aren't ready to tell anyone else yet? I am okay with that. Both Tanya and me hugged Kota and put him to bed. We both then went to the room we have to share with the rest of the class and soon went to sleep ourselves. The next day was interesting to say the least. That is because we were doing a brave test thing. Villains decided to attack. I was the one to go get Kota, hoping he is alright. When I got there, however, he was almost hit, but I made sure I got him away from me before he was. The person who attacked him revealed himself to be muscular. What I did was fought him, and apparently the villains are here to kidnap Kachan. When I did beat Muscular, both of my arms were not a single bit of not broken. Kota was worried about my arms, and I said I was used to it. I had him go on my back and began to run somewhere. Before long, I found Aizawa. I told him about what Mashio said, also to take Kota to safety. He told me to tell Mandale to tell the students to use our corks to fight the villains to get to safety. So I did just that. I told her that the target of theirs is Kachan, which I think he told him something about that. While I was running again, I found Sojiro. I quickly made a plan, and luckily he agreed with it. When we did find Tokiyami and Kachan, we had Dark Shadow take down the villain before the two used their corks, and thankfully Tokiyami was back in control. We all started to walk to the building in a different way, but from the fight the pros are at. We ran into Sunuraka, who were with the villain in a fight. The rest was kind of a blur between there and when they kidnapped Kachan. I had to go to the hospital because of my arms. When I did wake up, the doctor told me about my arms and that if I break them once more, they probably will no longer move. I was sad at the fact. Tanya was the one who I was first to meet with when I did wake up. Also, after the doctor telling me that, "Hey, Zu, how are you feeling?" "I am feeling alright, I guess." I sat on the edge of the bed. It was because of what the doctor said. "Yes, it is." He gave me a kiss, of course I returned. "You know I love you, right?" I answered, "Yes, I do. I love you too." He then gave me a note and read it. It was from Kota, and him wishing he was able to be with us when I did wake up. "Can we get married before next semester starts?" Which will be sometime after we save Kachan. "Alright, besides Kirishima, I want to ask you about that." I smiled at that. When I did get discharged, Momo, Kirishima, Todoroki, Tenya, and I went to where the signal from the tracker was. Before we went further, we got disguises so no one noticed us. We were off the location afterwards. One thing, we were outside trying to see what was happening. Next was a fight starting. I noticed the villain as all for one. After a little bit, the League of Villains were teleported as well as Kachan. They started to attack him. In no time, All Might came and started to attack All for One. I made a quick plan and told the others. We put the plan in action. I told Mount Lee she had to help us since the villains tried to propel one of them at us. When we landed, we soon met up with Todoroki and Momo. I looked at Tenya and saw he still had a serious face. He soon looked at me and we gave one another a small smile. Thankfully, no one noticed since they didn't say anything. It was sad that All Might almost lost, but we were all lucky that he won against All for One. I started to cry for a reason after what he said. Chapter 5. Izu's Pove. I met up with Yagiri after a few days. We walked for a bit before we went to our own houses. When I got back, I went to Tanya's and mine room and saw him reading. I closed the door and sat by him on the bed. He put his book down and got out his laptop. "Hey, Izu, how about we watch movies on the laptop while snuggling?" "I think that is a great idea." We got comfortable before we found a movie we both wanted to watch. It was a romantic type one, which we didn't care. During it, Tanya and me started to make out since we wanted to at the time. Soon, though, we started to trail down my neck with kisses and started to attack my collarbone. I was laying out small modes when he was doing so. Of course, we never went further than this because we still were not comfortable until we got married, that is. At the moment, I am kind of wondering how we never even got me pregnant by now. I think our parents and Tanya's brother was also surprised since they know we have a makeout session every day, if not possible more than one per day. They did see the love. They did saw the love bites and questioned about it. We said no about doing that, but just got to the part where we were comfortable enough to leave then behind nothing further. There was times we could have done it, but we didn't want to, so we went on a date instead. Either that or hung out with what people called the Deku Squad. I didn't mind much, so they were a bit nervous at that. Ever since we got engaged, though, and had some makeouts that got us horny. We didn't do much about it, but still didn't care enough to even go that far. Soon his lips were on mine again, and I think we felt a little bit of lust in the kiss. I couldn't help but start to grind on him a bit, though we were interrupted by Tensei knocking before opening the door. "Hey, you two, I guess I interrupted something. I will go now." He left and did his best to close the door. I looked back at Tanya to see what he might say. I heard him sigh before even talking. "I guess it was for the best since we have to get presentable now. Yeah, I guess you were right about that. It is just a shame we can't wait until you or me say to come in. We went to different bathrooms to prep for dinner, even though it was done. When we looked presentable, I gave him a quick kiss before we went downstairs to the dining room. We did what we usually do before we start to eat. Is Tensei right when he said he thinks he interrupted one of your makeout sessions? I blushed a little at what one of our moms said. It doesn't matter much now, though. Seriously, when are you two going to have a child? We want grandchildren. Too bad Tensei don't have anyone at the moment. We said we won't even try until after we are married, and you can't change our minds. Also, when we both get married, we will have an adoptive son. Then we want you to give us grandchildren by blood. I sighed at what they said. I wasn't ready to even carry the baby, or however many there will be. I don't even know if I will if I will be by the time we do get married, if I will be ready. Seriously, why can't Tensei give his parents grandchildren before us? It will just be weird when he does have children of his own. I just shook my head and looked back at my food and continued eating. They looked at me probably since I haven't said anything and I don't want to. I saw the worry on their faces and we had an awkward silence because of it. When I was done, I excused myself and put the dirty dishes in the sink before going to the bathroom. I closed the door and changed into my pajamas, or what I usually wear for sleeping. I laid on bed looking at the wall, curled in on myself. A bit later, Tanya came in, and I know he changed into his nightwear before laying by me and wrapped his arms around me. Hey, Zoo, what's wrong? I turned around and looked up at him. I don't know if I will ever be right to have children of our own. That isn't adoptive. That is, even if after we get married. I heard him sigh. At what I said. I don't know if I will be ready also, especially since we are training to become heroes, and what happens if we die? What will happen to them? I think we will don't have to worry about us getting killed in the field. If anything is their safety, when I will possibly become the number one hero. He laughed at that a little. I guess you are right. We gave one another kiss before we said good night and I love you to each other. Then the next day was somewhat interesting. Reason is because the two teachers came to tell us about the dorms. Tanya's parents were alright about it, and we needed to convince my mom a little to let me stay in UA. What I did was tell her I won't let her see any of her grandchildren when they are born. That was that. This could make us more willing to give them what they wanted. Also, when the teachers left, they made us start plan our wedding. I just sighed and shook my head at the thought of what we did to make this happen. Tanya and I were very tired from planning at the end of the day. Chapter 6. Moving day to the dorms. Tanya and me have different rooms. The reason was simple. We didn't want anyone to know we were together. We are happy our rooms are by each other's. I have a bathroom in mine while the others don't. We share closets since the teachers made our rooms connected because of what our parents made them do, which was have separate rooms, but they have to have them connected and a bathroom in one of them. We were also surprised that our room was on the second floor. After the move, we laid on Tanya's bed. I am so tired. I don't want to even unpack anymore today. When I said that, I had a groan escape. I know, Izu, I feel the same at the moment, yet I still have enough energy to do this. He started to kiss me, which I melted into a bit, and we started to have a makeout session. Within minutes, he started to kiss down my neck, and started giving me love bites. Tanya, if you don't stop now, you know what will happen. When I said that, all he did was kiss me on the lips again. Of course, I returned it. When we parted, he brought me closer to him. Sorry, Zoo. It's just I feel that I can't wait any longer to have a child. I bit my lip and looked away for a few seconds. I still don't feel. I still don't feel ready, even if we got married. Yeah, sure, I want a baby with you as soon as possible, but I don't know why I don't feel ready yet. Maybe it could be because we aren't married yet, and you want that to happen first. Yeah, maybe it could be that. I hope it is. We went to sleep after a few minutes. The only thing so far that I couldn't understand was how don't the other classmates know we are engaged, especially when I have the ring on in the morning. I woke up by Tanya kissing me. Morning, Izu. How was your dream? Good as usual. And morning to you also. During when I was talking, I yawned. When I looked that I was going to fall back asleep, he started kissing me again. Of course, I returned it, and making me more awake. You know how much I love you. I know how much you love me, but what about you knowing how much I love you? He brought me closer before kissing my nose. I am aware how much you love me. Soon we started to have our regular morning makeout session. When we were done with that, we started to get ready for school, since they were making us go there. When we did go down to the kitchen, we stopped in our tracks because we saw Uraraka and Kachan kissing each other. We also knew the others were down there also and watching also. No one knew what to do, so all I did was continue to get breakfast since we had school soon. Luckily for me, Tanya started to do the same. The others realized that we stopped watching and did so themselves. Hey guys, it's just me, or should we stop what they are doing? We all looked at Dinky for what he said. I think you're alright, and I am surprised Ida hasn't stopped it yet. I was lucky Mina didn't see what happened under the table when she said that. Reason is he put his hand on my thigh and squeezed it a little. I also saw a little smirk from him. Either way, I tried to keep still, but I still blushed. It was going to happen either way. Besides, it could have happened to any of the couples in the dorms. I knew he was also thought about also soon to be husband. One way I knew that was he starting to hold my hand and play with the ring a little. When we were halfway done eating, the two came and started to eat themselves. Nice of you to join us, Baka bro. I rolled my eyes knowing something will happen soon. Shut up, shitty hair. When he said that, he hit Kirishima on the head. Ow! Uraraka, why didn't you stop him? I felt that you deserved that, idiot. I looked at Tanya and he looked back at me. That is when we knew Kachan was being a bad influence on her. We soon looked back at the mini fight before anything got any more physical. We both stepped in. Tanya held back Kachan and I did to Uraraka from hurting Kirishima. Let go of me, stupid Deku. I wanted to cringe so bad at that. Scratch that I wanted to go and cry in Tanya's chest. What next made me surprised? Koda slapped her on her cheek. It made everyone quiet. I thought you were Midoriya's friend, Uraraka. I can't believe you would say something like that to him. Oh, and another, you should just fucking break up with Bakugo because he has changed you for the worst. That is when we knew he snapped, especially with the cussing. I don't think she cared since she elbowed me in the stomach, which made me lose my grip. I fell to the floor. She was about to attack Koda until Aizawa Sensei caught her. I expected better from you, Uraraka, but Aizawa Sensei, they started it. I was holding my stomach and Tanya helped me up while I was doing so. I am just happy I didn't get pregnant yet, otherwise I will be sad for the child who had to experience pain so early. And I will see the rest of you in the classroom. Midoriya, if you need to go to recovery, girl, I will be in the classroom with or without Bakugo and Uraraka. He soon left the room with the two still wrapped up. You all heard Aizawa Sensei. We should clean up before going to the classroom first, though. I thought it was cute when he started to use his robot hand gesture. He then looked down at me. He asked the question without saying it. I answered him no with my eyes also. Yes, we know how to talk to each other with only our eyes. We were able to understand each other that way for 2 months, and our parents thought it was weird. When things were cleaned, we made sure we had our shoes on and our book bags before going to school or going to the classroom. When we were all in there, we split up into our friend groups, and this time it was at my own desk. I can't believe she did that to you, kiddo. I saw Shota bring Sue closer to his side. I couldn't also. It is just horrible to think of what she said. I sighed before looking at them. Finally, I had a feeling this could have happened since those two were together. I paused and looked out the window. I wish it was the other way around, though. Soon we all heard Mina squeal, so we all looked to see what was happening. I knew it surprised everyone. Koda and Ayamo were kissing. When did this happen? I accidentally said. I saw Koda blush. Just recently, he accepted to be Mon Ponente Amy. If I could guess what that last part he said was my boyfriend. Well, congrats, you both. Thanks, Midoriya. I smiled at Koda, knowing he is finally opening up after him snapping earlier. When everyone was distracted with the new couple, Tanya decided to kiss me. Of course, I returned it. We had to keep it short, but we still had a lot of love within it. I knew I was going to talk to Tanya about something after unpacking everything tonight. A few seconds later, everyone was in their desk, even the two from this morning. Sadly, they had to stay away. I glared at Katsu and I knew Tanya was doing the same at Uraraka. Classes went on as usual after school. Tanya and me did our homework. When we did get done with that, we started to finish unpacking, which didn't take long. Soon enough, we were cuddling in bed. That was until Tanya thought it would be a good idea to start a makeout session. A few seconds after, I had to break it so it didn't go anywhere else. It's still weird how my brother can't interrupt us anymore. Yeah, especially now, but I'm surprised the others haven't even known about it and interrupted us. I thought they would have figured it out this morning. I blushed when he said that, knowing what he meant. Anyways, 2 weeks after we all moved into the dorms was our wedding day. We made sure it was not on a school day. Basically, the only people there was our families. Sure, it was small, but I didn't care all that much. After us getting confirmed of becoming husbands, we had a little party thing. When we were dancing to a slow song, my arms around his neck, on the other hand, was around my waist. He soon pulled me closer if possible and started to kiss me again. All I did was melt into it and start to get a bit horny. I knew Tanya noticed, but I didn't care. I also noticed his hand going down a bit before squeezing my ass a bit, which made me moan into the kiss. When we parted from the kiss, he put my mouth on my ear. Before he said anything, he bit it softly. I did the same. I did the same I did in the kiss, just quietly and still panting to catch my breath. Are you ready to have a family? I know you know what I mean. I shivered a little at what he was saying. Yes, I'm ready, but I thought I wouldn't by now. I heard him hum before he started to kiss my neck. We both knew we had to wait until after the little party thing and also to get Kota. The next day came quickly, with me waking up as usual with a usual kiss. Morning, Izu, get ready to get to Kota. I yawned before I answered. Yeah, I am surprised that the teachers are letting us have him live in the dorms also. We did our regular morning routine. You know what I can't do tonight since we have school tomorrow. I blushed knowing what he meant. Tanya and I promised that we'd do it next weekend. I saw him smile and give a small peck on the lips before we went down to breakfast. Manon was the first to notice us. Hey guys, where were you yesterday? I was the one who answered. We just went to see our families, then hung out a bit. Well, Minobro want to play a game after breakfast, and Ida, you have no choice. Actually, Midori and me have something to do first, if that is alright. Yeah, bro, I guess it is. I knew Tanya had a hard time saying my old last name. Yes, I did change my last name to his, and the teachers know. They will say my old last name for the others to not know we are married. Though after eating, we went out of the dorms and started walking to the train station to get where Koda is so we can pick him up. When we got out of UA's sight, Tanya started holding my hand. I saw him smile while looking straight ahead. I smiled also. When we got to the train station, we got whatever we needed before getting on our train. We luckily got to sit by one another. What do you think they will make us play, Izu? Chapter 8, Izu's Pove. I think Truth or Dare, Cards Against Humanity, Never Have I Ever, or something along those lines. I saw that he started to think a bit. When he pulled me closer to his side so I can just lay my head on his shoulder. We are going to meet Koda at the park with Sasuke. I think I dozed off a bit because I remember nothing else on the way there. Tenya woke me up with a kiss on my forehead, and we left the train. We soon were on our way to the park. I can't wait until I see him again. At least this time, I know he won't be I know be punched won't At least this time, I know he won't punch you. I laughed nervously at that part. When we got to the park, we saw Kota on the swings. It looked to me as he was just sitting there. We were greeted by Sasuke when she noticed us. Hey guys, you know Kota is ready. He actually was happy this morning. We all looked over at him. Well, it looks to me he's sad though, Tanya argued when he with me at that on that. He's usually that way when he is at the park alone. She then handed us some bags and a box. Here's all of his stuff. Thanks, Soskir. It was no problem. See you both around. I already said goodbye to Koda since I knew this was going to happen. We waved at her goodbye before I went over to Koda. Hey, Koda. Me and Tanya are here. He hugged me and I hugged back. I lifted him up and started to walk over to Tanya. Hey, Koda. Are you ready to go back to the dorms with us? Yes, I am, Dad. I smiled, so did Tanya. He wrapped his arm around me before heading to the train station again. The next thing we knew, we were back at the dorms. The others didn't notice us right away, so we quickly put Koda's things in his room. We all went downstairs after putting away the clothes. Surprisingly, Dinky noticed us first. Hey guys, I see you are back. Oh, looks that I have to change one of the games because Koda is here. I wanted to laugh at what Mina said. Sorry about that, Mina. It is alright. We can wait until he is asleep. We all got in a circle and Koda decided to sit in my lap. So, what are we freaking playing first? I knew Uraka didn't want to cuss in front of Koda. I did notice he tensed up a bit. That is when he turned to me before whispering something. What happened to her? And can I go to my room? Her boyfriend made her that way, and yes, you can. He gave me a hug, which I returned before he left. Now he's not in the room. Never have I ever. She explained the rules for those who don't know how to play. When we then all put up 10 fingers. The order it will go is Mina, Uraraka, Kirishima, Zinki, Bakugo, Shodri, Tokiyami, Todoroki, Su, Tenya, Mi, Koda, Ayamo, Toro, Ojiro, Momo, Jiro, Sato, and Shiro. We made sure Mineta wasn't playing any games. Never have I ever not dated anyone. Only Sato put his finger down. The others were surprised about Tenya and me. Never have I ever had a crush or is dating a girl. Ojiro, Toroki, Momo, Shiro, and Jiro put down a finger. Never have I ever kissed anyone who I wasn't dating at the moment. No one put their finger down. Never have I ever not thought about doing the thing with my partner. Ayama, Sue, Toroki, Ojiro, and Toro put their fingers down. It surprised everyone that Tanya's and my fingers didn't go down. I mean, we did think about it last night and the other nights beforehand. Wait, shitty nerd and flies, you thought about doing that stuff with your partner? I just blushed and Tanya had a straight face still. Just go on to your turn, Bakugo. Tch, whatever. My bad. Tch, never have I ever fucking not cursed. Ayamo, Sato, Momo, Jiro, Toro, Ojiro, and Sue put their fingers down. Again, everyone was surprised about Tanya and me cursing. I mean, we only did it when we were together, and maybe we will next weekend. At least the teachers made our room soundproof. Never have I ever sang only to myself. No one put their finger down. Never have I ever not thought about suicide at least once. Mostly everyone except Dinky, Karashima, Toroki, and me put a finger down. You 5 need help. The others agreed with Momo. Never have I ever not had a good dad or saw him. Everyone but me put a finger down. Everyone thought I was not okay by now, probably. Never have I ever not tried to jump off a building to my death. Dinky and Kirishima both put down a finger. I wonder what Tenya was going to say since it is finally his turn. Never have I ever sleep without my partner every night since at least a month after dating. Everyone except me put their fingers down. I wonder if it was obvious that we were dating each other. I also noticed I haven't put a finger down while 6 only have one hand left for now. Never have I ever been straight. Toroki, Su, Uraraka, Bako, Toro, Ojiro, Shiro, Mina, and Soto put their fingers down. It was fun that 8 had 5 or less fingers. Never have I ever been mute. I had to think for a few seconds. Dinky and me didn't put down a finger. Never have I ever not had a sibling and a dead one counts. Uraraka, Bakugo, Tokiyami, Koda, Kirishima, Dinky, Sato, Jiro, Momo, Soji, Shiro, Mina, Toro, and Ojiro all put down their fingers. Deku, you never had a fucking sibling. Yes, I did, and I do. A half one that I never seen, and one that died. Okay, like I said, I am not reading chapter 10, so for now, this will be the last chapter I read before I post this. Let me know if you want me to read chapter 10. I will show you guys this map warning. So, yeah, let me know if you want me to read it. Like I said, I will still read it. Everyone looked sad at me for the part. Toro, just do yours. Never have I ever been a twin. Only Ayamo put a finger down. By now my hands were getting tired. Never have I ever not had a tail before. I mean, I was once turned into a Nico for a few weeks. Everyone else put their fingers down. I was the one who pointed out Sato was out. Hey guys, Sato has all of his fingers down. Mina looked over soon afterwards. Sorry, Sato, but you can see who is going to win. It is alright. Never have I ever not had a cork that made me act dumb after using it. Dinky was the only one who put a finger down. Never have I ever not had an instrument. Bakugo, Tokiyami, Dinky, Momo, and me didn't put a finger down. Since Sato is out, it was Sato's turn. Zero's turn. Never have I ever not had a makeout session. As in he had a makeout session. Soji, Tokiyami, Koda, Ayamo, Su, and Toroki all put their fingers down. Again, people were surprised that Tanya and me didn't put a finger down. Mina then said, who was all out of the game now? So we have Sato, Su, and Ayamo all out of the game. We all agreed that the ones who are out don't get to ask anything else and start the order again. I have never made my partner not horny. I blushed so much at what she said. I knew she noticed. Todoroki and Koda were the only 2 to put a finger down. I have never have I ever not had a wet dream about my partner. Tanya knew I had one once, and I knew he also had one. Momo, Jiro, Soji, Tokiyami, Kirishima, Dinky, Koda, Toro, and Ojiro all put their fingers down. Once again, Everyone was surprised about Tanya and me not putting down a finger. Toro and Koda had no more fingers up. Never have I ever kissed my partner in front of the class. Uraraka, Baku, Ojiro, Shiro, Mina, Jiro, and Momo all put their fingers down. Jiro, Momo, Mina, Shiro, and Ojiro were now out of the game. Never have I ever tried to kill or could kill Midoriya. Todoroki, Baku, Uraraka, and Tokiyami put a finger down. Uraraka and Todoroki are now out of the game. This is the longest I've ever had 10 fingers up. Never have I ever had a hardening cork. Baka, bro, that was so targeted. With that, Kirishima was out of the game. Never have I ever knew Midoriya since childhood. Only Koski put his finger down, making him lose. Never have I ever cut myself because of depression. Dinky was the only one to put a finger down. Never have I ever had a cork that didn't make me not look completely human. Soji and Tokiyami both put down a finger. Never have I ever had a cork that is affected by light. Again, Soji and Tokiyami put a finger down. The only ones left now are Dinky, my husband, and me. Never have I ever not had a finger down this whole game. I slowly put down a finger. Never have I ever had a lightning cork. Dinky put down a finger. Never have I ever had a lightning bolt in my hair. Dinky put down down his last finger. Tanya and me soon looked at each other in the eyes. We had a little conversation and agreed that we can't put down any more fingers because we really don't know what to say. Midoriya wins. We can't think about anything else, and he has more fingers. Alright then, we can play Truth or Dare. Can I go check on Kota first? Of course you can, Midoriya. So I went to his room and lightly knocked on his door. I heard a faint come in. When I did, I sat by him on bed. I see you got done unpacking. Yeah, but I am tired now, Mom. I gave him a soft smile. All right, you can sleep. I will wake you up when we eat or watch a movie. I kissed his forehead before getting up. I love you, my son. I love you, son. I love you too, Mom. I turned off the lights before closing the door and going downstairs. When I got back, I sat next to Tanya again. Alright, Midoriya, truth or dare? Really, Mina? Why me first? I guess dare. I dare you sit on Ida's lap for the whole game. I slowly got on his lap and looked down the circle and smiled a little. Dinky, truth or dare? Dare. Sit on Kirishima's lap for the whole game. Also, and try not to get him hard. I heard some O's. Dinky did it anyways. When people will concentrate on that, Tanya grabbed my waist and grinded me up a little. I couldn't help but to grind down when he did. I also made sure he was the only one to hear me moan. I knew every since we got married yesterday, I have been wanting to get pregnant, which his and only his child or children. I knew he felt it also for what I want. We continued to play the game, and Tanya did not stop for a second, driving me crazy and doing my best to keep my moans in. I knew no one else noticed, which made me happy about that. Soon, though, only the Baku and Deku squad were left, and that was until Uraraka, Baku, Kirishima, and Kaminari left. Well, this will be no fun now that everyone is basically gone. So bye, guys. Mina then dragged Zero out of the room. Sue and Todoroki went to the kitchen. When they left, Tanya picked me up and brought us out and went to our room. When he got there, he put me on the bed before going to lock the door. He soon came back over and started kissing me roughly. Okay, that's gonna be it. And like I said, well, here, I'll show you. Like I said, this next chapter will have smut. So let me know if you want me to read it. I will read it if I'm asked to. Other than that, I'm probably not going to read it. I'll see the story continues.